This is a very special place in the history of World Cup cricket. This is the Nevill Ground in Tunbridge Wells, where one June afternoon in 1983, Kapil Dev played the innings of 175 not out against Zimbabwe. This is the ground. You can see the famous rhododendron flowers in full bloom over there. It's said that that day also it was almost like this. It was a gloomy day to start with, which brightened up gradually. And from 17 for 5, Kapil Dev lifted India to 250 plus with that unforgettable innings. There is no video recording of that match because BBC was on strike that day, so nobody saw afterwards what happened. But this is the ground where it took place, and you can see the long boundary over there. Eyewitnesses say that Kapil Dev was targeting that side. Balls were hit over mid-on and to the off-side field. This is for the New Indian Express. This is Atreya Mukhopadhyay at the Nevill in Tunbridge Wells. What do you remember of the match, of the Kapil Dev match?
The Kapil Dev match. I remember to start with that in the first hour that India were reduced to 17 to 5 for 5.
Yes.
The game started at 10:30 and the wicket was quite green and moist, and the two Zimbabwe medium fast bowlers managed to get quite a lot of lift, and three of the top 5 batsmen were out caught behind, including Sunil Gavaskar.
Okay.
And then you almost thought, oh, cool, this game could finish very, very quickly. And then there was a partnership between Binny and Kapil Dev, which took the scores to 77. And then they lost 2 wickets in the 70s. And again, it looked as though the game could be over very quickly. It's just the tail enders were coming in. But both Madan Lal and Kamani batted very well around Kapil Dev. And Kapil Dev batted a chanceless innings. And he got over 170 not out, and including some very large hits, including one that smashed the pavilion window and one that broke a car window in the car park. And Kapil Dev made 75 in the last 11 overs after he got his 100, with lots of shots through the offside and some big hits over mid-on.
You remember quite a lot, Steve, including the scores that it was 77 when Binny got out.
That's right, yes. And there was a 8-wicket partnership of 120 with Kamani, the wicket-keeper.
Yes.
And because most people didn't rate, or the Indians there didn't rate the chances because they didn't rate Kamani's and Madan Lal's batting too highly. And they weren't really expecting them to bat as sensibly as they did, giving the strike to Kapil Dev. And I can't remember how many balls they faced, but they faced quite a lot of balls in their innings. Yes, to make the partnership with Kapil Dev. And there's one slight myth that the wicket was slightly to the one side of the square. So on the one side of the square it was a short boundary, but Kapil Dev hit his 6s over the long boundary. There was one boundary where it's hard to take 2s, and the other boundary was a long boundary, and you could easily get 3 runs. So there was a myth almost created that Kapil Dev got the runs because of the short boundary, but that wasn't the case.
He was hitting towards the longer part of it, you mean?
Yeah, that's right. Yes, yeah.
Steve, did you go to watch the match with your friends, with your family?
Yes, we were in a marquee there. They put up tents or marquees at the side of the ground for the game, and I was watching there with my family.
And was the ground full?
The ground was full, yes, yeah.
How many people would have been there?
I reckon about 4,000.
So those are the only ones who saw that innings, because there is nothing else about the innings.
Yes, because what happened was the BBC were on strike that day, so there was no TV coverage on the ground, and so there was nothing recorded of the game. Although there's a story or a myth that someone, an Indian, took a movie of the game, but we're not sure if that actually happened, or whether that was just a myth that was created. But that was the only perhaps recorded version of the game. There is a myth that they think someone might have recorded it on a cine camera.
Those days, yeah. I mean, I have also heard this, but nobody has ever seen it. I mean, even if one person recorded it, he has not made it public. Yeah. He has not sold it, or he has not made it public.
No, that's right. Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Now, Tunbridge Wells is not a very regular venue. It's I think only once. I think only one match they held over there.
That's right. I don't actually know why Tunbridge Wells got the game. No, although it's a pretty small ground which is famous for its rhododendron bushes, and the rhododendron bushes were out. The mauve rhododendrons were out when the game was being played.
Oh, the bushes were they cut them off.
Yeah, they were very. The bushes were
cleaned up
around the ground, and they were flowering. The rhododendrons were flowering.
Oh, they were very flowering. Okay.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. The other thing I remember about the game was that Zimbabwe, the wicket flattened out. What tends to happen and is that the wicket flattens out after the moisture goes out of the wicket, and so it became a very good batting track. And so Zimbabwe were quite confident that they could chase down the score, but they had two run-outs, unfortunate run-outs, that stopped the momentum of their innings, and they were about 110 for 6 in their innings, and Kevin Curran came in and he made 82, and it looks as though when he was in that perhaps there was a chance that Zimbabwe could win the game.
And you seem to be a very, very ardent cricket follower.
Yes, yeah.
You remember everything. I mean, almost everything, including the scores, you remember from that game. Have you been following cricket? All your life. I mean, are you a cricket fan?
I'm a cricket fan. Yes, yeah. I've basically been involved with the Tunbridge Wells Cricket Club for about 40 years now.
You've been a member of the club?
I've been a member of the club. Yes, yeah. Since my father played down at Tunbridge Wells, so I used to go and play. We used to go and play at the ground while the club games were occurring.
You played for the club as well?
I played for the club since I was 14. Yeah.
What did you do? You were a batsman, bowler, all-rounder. What did you do?
Oh, an all-rounder. I was an all-rounder. Yeah. Mainly bowling, but batting a bit.
And have you, in your experience of watching cricket, I mean, you must have watched a lot of cricket on TV also and live also.
Yeah.
Is there anything that you can compare with Kapil Dev's innings, or do you think that's a special one, which is unique?
It is unique. I suppose you could almost compare it with the Botham innings, but it was unique in a way, in the recovery that it caused, and actually it won the game, the innings of 175, and we also saw some big hitting, which you didn't regularly see in limited over games, because they were 60 over games in those days rather than 50 over games, and yeah, so it was Kapil Dev's effort, really single-handed, with the support of the tail enders, that led to the recovery.
What do you do, Steve?
Sorry?
What do you do? I heard you told me last time that you're still working. What do you do? Or
I only do a bit of work. I work as an exam invigilator at our